I'm not denigrating people with serious mental illness, but there's millions and millions of people in this country that are literally pretending to be mentally ill. And it's bothering me. And I've always had this idea about therapy. Here's the thing with therapy, folks, and this is another hot take that will not be appreciated by everybody. Here we go. 75% of therapy. Are you ready for this? I want you to sit in your chair. Bye, Steven. Paddock's leaving. Bye-bye. All right, I'll see you. He's so funny. We try to do once a month lunch. We're both in town. 75% of all therapy is useless garbage. You're not meant to get to the bottom of it all. Life is too short. Daddy didn't love you. Maybe if he fucked you, okay, you need something. But the idea that, you didn't have the perfect parents or the perfect upbringing or whatever, I'm telling you right now, plumbing the depths of it for the rest of your life is going to do nothing for you. Ignore it, compartmentalize it, put it in a lockbox, as Al Gore would say when he was running for president. He goes, we put Social Security in a lockbox. Compartmentalize. Learn how to do that. It's very helpful. You don't have to, and sometimes you should be sad. Life's about that. Maybe you're at a bar, you're alone, you have a couple of drinks, it's the right time to be sad. Then open the compartment and take out all the shit you have to be sad about and be sad. You hear a song come on in the car. Oh, it's time to be sad. Well up with tears, it's sad time. And then you get where you're going and you go, okay, we're putting it back in the compartment, zip it up, and then we're going to go be productive and do something else. I don't think you have to figure it all out because you're not going to. You're going to have to live and let live. Therapy, by the way, let's be honest right now. How many people are useless and then halfway through the conversation you go, what are you in school for? What are you doing? They go, I'm a therapist. Let's be honest. My friend Michelle wants to be a love therapist. She's had 3 failed marriages. She wants to be a couples therapist. These are the people getting into this. I mean, think back on the last person who told you they're a therapist. I guarantee you it was somebody where you went, that person has nothing meaningful to add to anything. I'm telling you the truth. And there are a few that are good, and there are people that genuinely need therapy, need help. But there's a lot of people. There's a little bit of a hustle out there. It's a little bit of a con job going on for people with college degrees. They don't really know what to do, so they're going to sit on their ass and listen to you talk about the fact that your dad was not as supportive as he should have been. Hey, boo-hoo-hoo. Grow up. Stop thinking about it if it bothers you. Figure out a way to stop thinking about it. You have power over your own mind. Here's why therapy has become necessary. Because we're telling everyone they have to get to the bottom of everything and they have to be okay with everything and everybody, which is insane. That's why therapists, that's why they make millions and millions of dollars, because we've told everybody that before you leave planet Earth, you got to be okay with everyone that's ever wronged you. And you got to make peace with everything, which isn't true. You just have to forget about it so that it doesn't fucking impact your day-to-day life. You don't have to make peace with it. In fact, in some cases, people that never make peace with it are very successful because there's a part of it that still drives them to do things. So enough with the therapy shit. Literally. Enough with this self-care stuff. I've done this before on the show. But this idea of self-care, we're a deeply selfish country of demons. The idea that any of our problems are because people in America are not thinking enough about themselves is hilarious. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. That if you were to diagnose this country's issues, you would say there's just too many do-gooders. That's America's problem. What do you think America's problem is? Well, from what I've observed, there's just too many people looking out for each other. Really? Yeah, that's what I think their biggest issue is. And these people are tired all day from feeding and housing the homeless, and they just they can't do anything for themselves. So they need self-care, which means nothing at all. What does it mean? Masturbating with a candle? It means nothing. Taking a bath? Everything you do all day is self-care. That $3,800 Frappuccino that you drink in your car is self-care. You're pumping yourself full of drugs. Self-care. That vacation you took, self-care. The kids you half raised because you want to watch Bravo, self-care. The reality TV you watch is self-care. Everything you do is self-care. There is no other care, by the way. Nobody's pioneered that. Nobody's thought about that yet. So therapy goes into self-care where they're like, well, I just gotta talk to someone about everything and you realize that most of the people in therapy, by the way, let's be honest, have lived nice lives. Let's be really honest. Most of the people in therapy have lived very nice lives, enviable lives that any of us would have wanted to live. A lot of the people that should be in therapy because they were genuinely fucked over don't have the money to do it. It's not an option for them. And I'm not saying that all therapy is bad. I'm saying a lot of it is garbage. I said 75%. I still think I stick with that. 75% I think is garbage. Self-care. I just need some time to talk about myself and all the things that bother me. Well, you don't have to talk about them because you don't have to think about them. You can actually just put them somewhere where you can't get to them and then bring them out whenever you need them and then put them back in. That's all. That can be done. We've overdone it with the chatty Cathy. And I think we know we have. I want to. And then I just think that my, the commitment issues that he has, but then I also shut up and do something, you privileged. The idea, what these people talk about in therapy, I don't know. I just think maybe it's a fear that I have or that maybe that he has, but I think it's just a fear that it's just it was so good it was bad. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what it is? Get a job. Do something. Stop burdening yourself. Forget other people. They're making money. By the way, stop burdening yourself with these thoughts that you people are just masochists by their very nature. They want to drown themselves in negativity and negative thoughts. This is our nature as human beings to do. I don't know if it goes back to the, eating the apple and we're born of sin and whatever. I don't know where it goes, but I don't care. It may be deeper than that. But what it is it's just indulgent. And when you indulge certain thoughts and certain patterns of behavior, they become pathologies. Stop indulging this shit. Cut it off. I know that if I wanted to lose weight, I can lose weight, and I should, but it's not a therapist. Is it good? I know exactly why I eat. So me paying $100 to a therapist to tell her why I eat, or him, doesn't make any sense. It makes sense for the therapist because they need to make money. There was a whole thing about 12-step programs in the patriarchy of AA. This article that was written, which was AA is a patriarchy. So instead of people sobering up, they can shout "Yas Queen" as they relapse and die. Great article. My criticism of therapy is not meant to broad brush everything. I think there is validity to certain 12-step programs. I think there is validity to some forms of therapy that people really need. But let's not pretend that we haven't blown the whole thing out of proportion. Treating mental health like some fad. And you just, a lot of the reasons you hate yourself are valid. They're valid reasons. You're right. My friend once said to his father, he goes, I think I'm depressed. He goes, you're 40 years old. You have no career, no family, no money, and no woman. You should be depressed. Now, if that was therapy, I'd say go to it every day. If that was therapy. But that's not. Therapy would be like, well, why do you think that? Do you think it would be constructive for you to... No, his father was like, you're a loser, and that's why you're sad. There's a reason you're anxious. There's a reason you're sad. There's a reason you're depressed. Most people want to go to therapy because they want to keep doing the thing that makes them anxious and depressed and somehow mitigate that. They go, I'm in a horrible relationship, but I'd like to stay in it and go to therapy to mitigate its effects on me. I'm in the wrong job, but I'd like to just stay at it and go to therapy so that they can teach me some coping mechanisms so I can continue to live the absolutely wrong way and mitigate the effects of doing so. That's what most therapy is. I'm miserable and I've made all the wrong decisions. I'd like to continue to making bad decisions, but I want to be happy now. Are we by you know who? No, right? You know who?
Oh, no.
Okay. It kind of looks like we were, though.
No. This is Culver City.
Okay. I don't want to get it wrong. I know people are going to go nuts at me for the therapy rant, but you know what? Sometimes we just got to do it, folks. Sometimes we just got to do it. I love all these people congratulating each other for getting into therapy. Well, congrats, you're in therapy. Oh, you stop. Will you stop? A real therapist should be somebody who has to deal with my mother, where my mother says totally batshit off the wall crazy stuff. And a real therapist is like, do you have any proof that your sister is in the FBI? Like, that's what a real therapist should have to do. Not listen to you to talk about your gash for an hour. For an hour. If you really need it, you need it. But there's another type of therapy that nobody puts any credence in, and it's called forgetting. Forgetting what happened. Accept people as they are. Don't arrange the world in the way that you need it to be arranged. Enough with it. Don't think about it. You know?